Let me get into some basketball talk with you because obviously the story of the week was James Harden getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets. When you first learned that that deal had been made, what was the first reaction you had, Charles?
Thank you. It's going to be the best soap opera ever, probably. I can't wait to watch it. I actually said it like when they were started talking about a month and a half ago. I think it's going to be fascinating watching those three personalities try to mesh in New York City. I think it's going to be amazing TV to watch. I cannot wait to watch it. So I'm excited.
Do you think it's going to work out with the big three in Brooklyn? How do you feel that's going to work out?
I do not think it's going to work. Kyrie and James Harden have not shown me, and they don't have to show me, number one, that they are willing to do whatever it takes to win. Kevin has done it when he went to Golden State. He partnered with Steph and Clay and Dre, took a lot less shots, played defense, rebounded. James and Kyrie have not shown me that they're like, okay, I'm going to get a lot less shots. Am I going to play defense, rebound, do things like that to help the team win? I can only go by their track record, and their track record tells me they're not going to be selfless. And my biggest concern also is, what are they going to do in the interior? I think they're going to have a tough time rebounding the ball. Now, they're going to be great offensively, but defensively and rebounding, I think they're going to struggle.
Let's compartmentalize it a little bit, or at least individualize it. James Harden first. What do you felt, or how did you feel about how he handled things in Houston in the end? We all know that James Harden doesn't engage in load management. He shows up to play. We know he's averaged 30 over the last 3 games, one of the greatest offensive players this game has ever seen as far as I'm concerned. But he's taken a lot of hits from people because of how he handled things prior to his exit out of Houston. Basically, to force his way out of Houston. What were your thoughts about that?
Well, he deserves to hit, Stephen A. James Harden went 4 straight games with less than 20 points. I said 2 years ago, and people thought I was crazy, James Harden might be the best one-on-one player I've ever seen. He is the best. He's not a greater player as Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, but as far as scoring, he's the best one-on-one player I've ever seen. Those guys couldn't shoot threes like him. Going to the basket, he is pretty much unstoppable. And so for him to go 4 straight games and get less than 20 points, he had checked out physically and mentally. So I had a problem with the way he handled that. And clearly the Rockets, he told the Rockets he didn't want to be there. They should have traded him sooner. But I was disappointed the way he finished his career in Houston because he completely checked out. He was wrong.
Do you think they made a mistake in not trading him to Philadelphia and getting somebody like Ben Simmons, maybe a younger player, and a pick? Do you think they should have done that with Philly as opposed to moving him to Brooklyn?
Well, listen, I actually thought if I was the Houston Rockets, if they had given me Jared Allen, Dinwiddie, and LeVert, or maybe even Joe Harris, I think that would have been a much better trade for the Houston Rockets because I'm a big Jared Allen fan. I love Dinwiddie. Obviously, he's hurt. But LeVert and Joe Harris, I think they could have got a better package from the Nets. Yeah. But listen, James is a hell of a player. I just thought the way he handled the thing in Houston was just very unprofessional.
Let's transition to Kyrie Irving because his situation has been bizarre, to say the least. Started the year off telling the media that he didn't want to talk to anybody, called a bunch of people peons in the media, obviously played the first few games averaging about 26 a game, but then took off for personal reasons. Initially didn't highlight why, and then he's been going court on social media trying to engage with elected officials to help social justice issues or what have you. What do you make of Kyrie Irving?
Well, it's time for Kyrie to grow up. Stephen A., when you become a professional and you're making $30, $40 million a year, you are held to different standards than most people. He has to show up to work. You know, we had the game on when the coach got up there like, well, I don't know where Kyrie is. You have an obligation to tell your employer, Stephen A., you cannot show up. Listen, as terrific as you are on television, you do have to tell ESPN when you ain't going to show up for work.
Absolutely.
You can't just not go. So that's really unprofessional. And it's time for Kyrie, listen, it's time for him to grow up and be a great player, not just a talented player, to be a great player and be professional. And listen, I personally think I have no proof that the Nets just said, listen, we've had enough of worrying about Kyrie. I think that's personally why they made the James Harden trade, because they don't feel like they can trust Kyrie. And listen, with KD and James, they're going to be a tough team to beat anyway. But if Kyrie comes in and gets in line, they're going to be fascinating to watch.
Charles Barkley, we're going back on the court. Who's your favorite to win the championship this year? Give it to me. You picked Portland last year. You said guarantee and had your brooms out, and they lost.
Hey,
what's up, Charles?
The way I'm looking at it right now, I thought the big winner in the James Harden sweepstakes was the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, Ben Simmons, just talking to everybody in Philly, the Sixers have been on pins and needles for the last month, worried about what they're going to get rid of Ben Simmons. I think now they got a new coach, obviously, in Doc Rivers. I think the Milwaukee Bucks and the Sixers are the teams to beat in the East. And in the West, I haven't seen anybody to put any fear in the Lakers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.